Friends, I recall an old adage. There are two kinds of people in the world, givers and takers. While takers might eat better, givers always sleep better. One day, a florist went to a barber for a haircut, and after the cut, he asked about his bill, and the barber replied, "I cannot accept money from you because I am doing community service this week." The florist was pleased and left the shop. Now, when the barber went to open his shop the next morning, there was a thank you card and a dozen roses waiting for him at his door. Now, some days later, a cop comes in for a haircut, and when he tries to pay his bill, the barber again replied, "I cannot accept money from you. I am doing community service this week." The cop was happy and left the shop. Now, next morning, when the barber went to open up, there was a thank you card and a dozen donuts waiting for him at his door. A few days later, college professor comes in for a haircut. And when he tries to pay his bill, the barber again replies, "I cannot accept money from you. I am doing community service this week." The professor was very happy and leaves the shop. And the next morning, when the barber opens his shop, there was a thank you card and a dozen different books such as how to improve your business and becoming more successful. A week later, a politician comes to get his haircut. And after getting it, he goes to pay the barber. And the barber says, "I am doing community service. This week, no charge." The next morning, when the barber opens his shop, he finds a dozen politicians at his doorsteps, all waiting for a free haircut. Friends, whether in relationship, culture, or industry, research identifies givers, takers, matchers, and some fakers. Givers are generous. They focus on helping others without expecting anything in return. They find joy in helping others achieve their dreams. Takers are selfish. They focus on what they can get and they don't care how that affects other people. They only care about themselves and their interest. Matchers are fair. I'll do something for you if you do something for me. While fakers disguise themselves as givers while being absolute takers. So, who achieves the greatest success in life? We often assume that people most likely to zoom ahead are the ruthless, pragmatic type who are always looking for ways to benefit themselves and try to derive maximum gain from every single transaction. Now, according to Adam Grant, that assumption is dead wrong. His first book, Give and Take, soon became a New York Times bestseller. His research, as laid out in his book, clearly suggests that contrary to conventional wisdom, nice guys actually finish first. Now, you might think that the taker does the best because they are so self-interested, but they don't. People quickly learn who the takers are. And once people recognize you as a taker, they don't want to interact with you. So, takers may win a little in the short run, but they don't do well in the long run. Next, you might think that the matcher could also do well since they are balanced in their approach. But again, they don't achieve more success. People see matchers as transactional. They are willing to help, but they are not willing to go way above and beyond. So that leaves us with givers. But as Adam Grant explains, now givers actually perform both the worst and the best. Now there are two types of givers: selfless givers and otherish givers. Selfless givers, as you may guess, are the ones who drop everything to help people all the time, which means that they tend to fall behind their own work. Therefore, they usually end up at the bottom of the success ladder. On the other hand, otherish givers are smart and strategic about their giving. While they have just as much givers as the selfless givers, they have learned to successfully navigate a world with matchers and takers, so others don't take advantage of them. Now, selfless givers were often considered doormats and others take advantage of them. They had few boundaries. They couldn't say no. They didn't manage time well and generally were exhausted and burnt out. They were also poor negotiators. when negotiating for themselves. They fail to excel because they're too busy helping other people do just that. So who are at the top? Who are the people who become successful? The Adrish givers were. They left grace in every encounter. When they had the option to take everything on the table, they didn't. When they could humiliate, they remained humble. So with all the similarities, what was the difference between the givers at the bottom and givers at the top? The successful givers at the top added several important characteristics. They put in appropriate boundaries. They became matches when they were dealing with die-hard takers. And most importantly, they regularly asked for help. Now, Adam Grant also addressed fakers, or rather fake givers. They may give away money and kiss up to those who can provide them influence, access, and power. Yet, while they are kissing up, they are also kicking down, mistreating those who can't directly help them climb to the top. Now, I remember a joke where a politician visited a village and asked what their needs were. And the villagers replied, "We have two basic needs. First, we have a small clinic, but there is no doctor." On hearing this, the politician quickly whipped up his cell phone, and after speaking for a while, he reassured the village leaders that the doctor would be there the very next day. He then asked them about the second problem. "Secondly, sir, there is no phone coverage anywhere in this village." Remember, faking it as a giver while covertly promoting only their interests simply doesn't sustain. Now let's take a look at the nice guy paradox. I once read a quote, "It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice." Yet popular wisdom also tells us that nice guys finish last. Now, in a world that always seems to be about me first, it can be hard to see the value of niceness. The truth is, being nice and helpful can pay off profitably in the long run more than being selfish and cutthroat. Stephen Klein, the author of the best-selling book, The Science of Happiness, recently wrote a new book titled Survival of the Nicest: How Altruism Made Us Human and Why It Pays to Get Along. He argues that the folk wisdom such as nice guys finish last and greed is good are completely wrong. He claims that humans are hardwired to be cooperative and generous. This bold claim begs the question, if humans are supposed to be so nice, why are they sometimes so mean? It seems that there are two major reasons. The first is that most people overestimate the value of money and set it as their end goal. However, multiple studies that Klein cites show that money is a poor substitute for what people really want, and that's happiness. This is more easily found through successful business and personal relationships and caring for others. Kindness becomes the means to those ends. The second reason why humans are sometimes very mean is because of the fear of exploitation. They are worried that the cheaters and bullies of the world will take their things away. So they are preemptively resolved to be the takers first. The solution here is to keep helping others anyway in your small little ways. Over time, Klein claims that the fear of exploitation fades away until finally it is replaced with determined courage. Trust me, giving is always rewarding. Goodness doesn't slow people down. Niceness is actually an investment that pays off in the long run. People don't realize it, but the amount of opportunity gained by good people because of their kindness is enormous. Make your life spectacular, and one sure way to make one's life spectacular is by giving and helping others. Friends, the feeling of giving will always feel better than the feeling of taking. When you take, there will inevitably be an outward expression of joy. But when you give, there will be an inward joy that is inexpressible. Remember, nice guys always finish first.